5:30 p.m. Tonight's regular Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, here in the boardroom. Could we have a roll call, please, Tammy?
Mike Cornisher.
Here.
Ron Liberty.
Here.
Paul Crew.
Here.
John Smith.
Here.
Brett Waller. Dubs Ashbeck.
Here.
Amber DeRizzo. Here. Jacqueline Gremler. Here. Kevin Blake.
Here. Please stand and face the flag for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Merrill Area Public Schools Board of Education meeting. Matter respects the role that our elected board members serve and the function of our board meetings. Board members and administrators are committed to working collaboratively to provide our students with the highest level of achievement. This meeting is a formal event, and professional conduct is the expectation for all in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Tammy, did you have any forms turned in for public comments? Opportunity for the public. We allocate up to 15 minutes for anyone from our district to speak if they'd like to. Next, we allocate some time for recognition. While we have no formal recognition, that usually happens more during the school year. A lot does happen during our summertime in preparation for the school year. So I want to thank everybody that's doing a great job getting things ready, not only the buildings and grounds, but getting all the new educators and current educators all up to speed with everything that's happening. So thank you to everyone that's making that possible for the new school year. Next, we have administrative reports. Just a reminder, board members sometimes ask questions in advance just to speed up the process, but certainly can ask questions tonight since they've seen these prior to here, but I'll turn it over to Shannon for administrative reports.
Thank you. The first administrative report this evening is the Director of Pupil Services Special Ed report. Amber Haluska is here this evening. Her report focuses on the seclusion and restraint data for the previous school year that was shared at CTP. If there's any questions, Amber's here to address that. The next item B is the Director of Curriculum Instruction report. Information there about new teacher orientation and onboarding that's going on currently. And Amanda's here if anybody has any questions. I'll ask you, Amanda, how's it been going?
It's going great. We've got 18 new teachers that we have had at new teacher orientation this week. They were here all day on Monday and all day today. Today we actually met at the school forest and got to show off our fabulous resource that we have out there. And Russ, our school forest director, was even awesome enough to take them on a tractor trailer ride on the Blue Jay Trail today to show them the cordwood shed and the pond. So they really enjoyed that, and just a nice time for them to get connected to our district and to each other. They met with their mentors and their principals this afternoon, and so they are on their way. So we've got plans this year to expand our networking opportunities for our new teachers, as well as really focusing more on instructional practices that we want them to be proficient in and working with our MAP students that we think are really important. So.
Item C is the Director of Finance report. Mark is here with us this evening. His report focuses on the budget update that he shared at HR Finance the other night, as well as short-term borrowing. The auditors were physically here yesterday and today, and wrapped that up today. Any comments on that, Mark?
No, they didn't have any issues so far. So they said everything was going smooth.
So if there's any questions for Mark? Next up is the Director of Human Resources report. Heather Silberg is here to talk about, or her report covered a lot of things. GPI staffing, some shortages that we, as well as everybody's experiencing, some payment line updates and those kind of things. So if anybody has any questions for Heather, that would be great. And then what's our current openings look like?
Yeah, so we currently have, an offer out, it just hasn't come back yet for a lunchroom aide, so then with that, if that one gets filled, we'll still have one more. We have a long-term sub needed for 6th grade ELA. We need a special education aide at the middle, these are all at the middle school, and we need a 5th grade teacher at the middle school, so. I sent out emails to about 5 universities yesterday, and they pushed it out to all of their recent graduates to see if there's anybody that hasn't been picked up yet, to see if we can try to get, because some of these have been posted for a little while now. So.
And so one thing that Heather and I were talking about, I mentioned this to Kim just a few moments ago, is that we'll be having some hires, hopefully by the time school starts or within the first day or two of school, but which is prior to the next board meeting. And so traditionally we get our hires approved on a consent agenda personnel report. So I'm looking for some guidance or some suggestions on how to proceed with those hires with our next meeting coming up in the 3rd week in September.
Proceed.
What you gotta do?
Yeah.
They'll still, of course, report, they'll still appear on the report for the consent. We just
Approve at a later date, that's fine.
He's going a lot over there. Okay.
Yeah, I would think that the actual offer would be contingent upon board approval, and they'd have to know that, not that there would be any interference, but
Yeah.
contractually that would be what the only.
I think that's the understanding of all of our hires.
Yep.
Yeah, so, thank you. Item B is the Director of Buildings and Grounds Transportation update. Nick is on vacation today, so he's not here, but he had some information on the Prism updates, as well as Jefferson Transportation, or Jefferson Common Transportation Facilities Maintenance, et cetera. I can speak on Nick's behalf if anybody has any questions on any of those things. That leaves the superintendent's report. Amanda talked about back-to-school preparations with regard to new staff and returning staff. A reminder that we have our whole staff as a district-wide staff meeting next Tuesday morning in the auditorium. That starts at 8 o'clock. And we do have some board members that are going to be grilling burgers and stuff that afternoon for the staff as well at noon. So we're looking forward to that. In my report, I talk about the PFAS update. I think we're all familiar with where we're at on that. We're waiting for some feedback from a grant award from the EPA to cover test borings and potentially a well out at that site. And then I just opened up the floor for any comments or feedback on Monday night's board admin retreat. I thought it went very well. I thought the conversations were good. We stayed on time, which is great. If anybody's got any questions or comments, follow up on that.
I guess I would piggyback to what you're saying, Shannon. That was been involved in a number of them, and that was one of the best I've been a part of. It's the topics, the organization, the willingness to share, the question and answers, the purpose. We had 8 or 9 fairly broad yet in-depth topics that we covered and got answers to all the people that were there and kind of shared philosophy and thoughts. And it was well received.
I think, I appreciate getting the background on everybody, just because I think in order to have a cohesive discourse, you have to know where people have been, kind of know their process lead, getting into the position, whether it's the staff or whether it's the board members. Now we all know what we all kind of bring to the table as far as backgrounds. Because honestly, I think that creates a better decision. So whether it's your professional background or your family background, or if you move to Merrill or you live in Merrill, you all bring something to the table, but it's kind of nice to know it so that you can also respect it.
All right, and then by way of update, last week we brought in 2 very strong candidates for the community ed coordinator position. We had a team of 3 advisory committee members, 2 administrators, and myself. And we did make an offer, and it's accepted offer pending board approval, which will be, that's on the first one report's name. The candidate that, well, I'll wait till the first one. So, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. Next on our agenda is committee reports. We'll start with any board member questions on the Finance Human Resources Committee draft minutes from the August 14th meeting. John Smith as chair and other members of Finance Human Resources Committee are available for questions. Board members have any questions for the Finance HR Committee? Any questions for Finance HR? Hearing none, we will move on to our CTP, or Curriculum Technology Pupil Services Committee. Ron Liberty as chair is here to answer any questions, or the other committee members from the minutes provided also from the August 14th meeting. Board members, do we have any questions for our CTP committee? Any questions for CTP? Once again, I thank everyone for their attendance and that there was a lot of information, especially this time of year, getting prepared for school, that we went through, and as we'll see on our agenda tonight. So we will move on. We have nothing in the category of unfinished business, so we will start with Board of Education business. First item there is the Merrill High School course name change for 2024-2025 school year, attached to the topic summary sheet from High School Principal Tricia Dieter, and a recommended motion from our CTP committee. Do we have a motion on this agenda item? Nubs?
I'll move to change the Merrill High School American Government to Civics for the 2024-25 school year as presented.
Motion by Nubs. Do we have a second? Second by Amber. Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the MAPS Academic and Career Planning, or ACP plan presentation and approval. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Amanda Patterson, Amber Aluska, and a recommended motion from our CTP committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda topic? Amber?
Motion to approve the Merrill Area Public Schools Academic and Career Planning Plan for the 2024-2025 school year as presented.
A motion by Amber. Do we have a second? Paul? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the ILET 45 Merrill High School ELA intervention adoption. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Amanda Patterson and Amber Aluska, with recommended motions from our CTP and Finance HR committees. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
Move to approve the purchase order for $16,362.23. ILET 45 materials from Savas with ESSER 3 funds.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by John. Do we have any questions or discussions on this motion or topic? Any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda this evening is the approval of the contract between Lincoln County Health Department and Pine River School for Young Learners for health screening services. The topic summary sheet was provided by Ryan Martinovich, and there is a recommended motion from our CTP committee. Is anyone willing to make a motion this evening on this agenda item? Nubs?
I move to approve the health service agreement between Lincoln County Health Department and Pine River School for Young Learners for the 2024-25 school year.
Motion by Nubs, do we have a second? Second by Amber. Any questions or discussion on this motion or agenda item topic? Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the contract between the Lincoln County Health Department and the Merrill Area Public Schools for grades 4K through 12 and the NAC, the Northern Achievement Center. Attached is a topic summary sheet from Amber Aluska and a recommended motion from our CTP committee. So anyone willing to make a motion on this item on the agenda? Amber?
I motion to approve the Lincoln County Health Department School Health Services Contract Agreement for the 2024 to 2025 school year, grades 4K through 12 and NAC, a reoccurring cost that is annually built into the district budget.
Motion by Amber, do we have a second? Second by Mike. Do we have any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Any question or discussion on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the 2024 HPE Superintendent TechCare Renewal Contract. We had a topic summary sheet provided by Andrew Kaler and a recommended motion from our CTP committee. Is anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? John?
Motion to approve the 2024 HPE Simplivity TechCare Renewal Contract for the amount of $21,494.13.
Motion by John, do we have a second? Second by Paul. Do you have any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is a resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed $2,900,000, the issuance of tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes and participation in the PMA levy and aid anticipation notes program. We had a topic summary sheet provided by Mark Powell and a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? John?
Motion to approve the resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in the amount not to exceed $2,900,000, issuance of taxable tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes, and participation in the PMA levy and aid anticipation note program, and approving Mark Powell as the acting fiscal agent for maps regarding signatures required on the day of the offering and other documentation relating to this borrowing.
We have a motion by John. Do we have a second? We have a second by Paul. Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? We've made good progress there, as you see. Correct, Mark, with the increase in Fund 10 or the fund balance, you're now asking for 2.9. In the past, that's been even greater than the 4.5.
Correct. Last 5 years, it's gone down every year.
Any additional discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? Based on this particular topic, it does require a roll call vote, so I'm going to ask Tammy to provide us with a roll call vote, please.
Mike Cornisher,
Approved.
Ron Liberty,
Aye.
Paul Krug,
Aye.
John Smith,
Aye.
Nels Ashbeck,
Aye.
Amber DeRosa,
Aye.
Jacqueline Grosler,
Aye.
Kevin Blake.
Aye. Thank you, Tammy. Next on our agenda is the fiscal year 25 preliminary budget for approval at the annual meeting and budget hearing. Attached topic summary sheet was from Mark Powell. Included was the draft state of the district and budget. The recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
I move to approve the 2024-2025 preliminary budget and tax levy as presented.
Motion by Paul, do we have a second? Second by Nubbs. Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? John?
I'd just like to commend the central office for their work fiscally. Not only is the borrowing amount the lowest in all the history that I've been participating, but we have a balanced budget again. And we have funds that are starting to actually make us a lot more safe moving forward. And that doesn't just happen by accident. So I know there's been some turnover, but Mark has certainly stepped up and done it. And you have been at the helm the whole time. So thank you for that.
I second that.
Any additional discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of a vehicle purchase from MAPS Head Start. Attached topic summary sheet from Ryan Martinovich. A recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make that motion or a motion? Nubbs?
I move to approve the program vehicle purchase for the Pine River School for young learners for the 2024-25 school year.
Motion by Nubbs. Do we have a second? Second by Amber. Any questions or discussion in regards to this motion or topic? John?
It was in the original committee that was discussed and it was recommended, but it's important to note that these monies are all grant money and not local money, so they're part of the federal Head Start program grant amounts, and this doesn't come out of our 110 balance through any type of state aid or local levy.
That's a fair point, John. I appreciate you doing that. Ryan and Kelly Strike, Dr. Strike, built this into the federal Head Start budget, so it's no impact to our budget.
Thank you.
I know you stated that for the record, John, but would you like a friendly amendment to the motion, or are you all right with just having that stated?
Yeah, this discussion is
Plenty.
qualified.
Fair enough. Any additional questions or discussions for this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the Apptegy website and mobile app. Topic summary sheet was provided by Andrew Kaler, and there was recommended motions from our Finance, Human Resources, and CTP committees. Anybody willing to make a motion on this agenda item this evening? Jacqueline?
Move to approve that Apptegy quote for $26,195.75 to replace our current website with Apptegy's website and app.
Motion by Jacqueline, second by Nubbs. Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries. Next on our agenda is the topic of proceeding with the sale of Jefferson Elementary School property. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Shannon Murray. and a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this topic? John?
A motion to proceed with the solicitation and receipts of offered purchase for the vacant Jefferson Elementary with the terms and conditions presented.
We have a motion by John. Do we have a second? Second by Jacqueline. You want to be sharing that at this time? So let's pass this around. Go ahead. I was just going to say, we went through this at committee, but there is some additional data on here, and I'll turn it over to Shannon to go through the highlights of it.
So by way of background, we've been talking about the sale of Jefferson for quite some time, months. And so last month, at the regular board meeting, the board charged me with coming back with a recommendation on how to proceed, which I presented at HR Finance last week. Through those discussions and some further follow-up discussions with Boardman Clark, I presented you with that recommendation, which is a memorandum in front of you, as well as some other documents that I'll get to in a second. However, there are a couple of things that have been added in there since HR Finance. I just want to stress those are the yellow highlights in the memo that's per Boardman Clark. And so I'll just read those points all out so everybody has them. The first addition is MAPS extends no warranties or representations of any kind regarding the condition, fitness, or merchantability of the property. That ties in with the one above, the as is, where is, et cetera, et cetera. The second one that was added was MAPS will not accept any offer for the purchase of less than the entire property. We're not interested in chunking it off. The third bullet on this, or the first bullet, third bullet overall, first bullet on the second page. MAPS may select the offer which best serves its interest and is not required to select a proposal offering the highest dollar amount for the property. And then lastly, it's just kind of a technical thing. It's actually in the offer to purchase itself, but the highlight in the communication was that $5,000 in earnest money will be submitted along with the offer to purchase by Monday, October 21st, 2024. I have changed the dates that we discussed last time. So the HR Finance. So the goal would be, if approved, these packets then would be made available to interested buyers starting tomorrow morning. And they would get essentially what you see here. So it's a memo with the expectations and how the process is going to go. And I think we've talked about this, that we want this to be an open, transparent, fair process. And so the spirit of it is, as we discussed with HR Finance, it's a one submit your bid situation where we're not going to get into counters and escalator clauses and all those kind of things. And we'll take those offers to purchase up until Monday, I believe it's the 22nd, is that a Monday? October 21st is when they're due by, and then we will review them at the board meeting on October 24th. Sorry, October 23rd is the board meeting, and we will do discussions and close and take a vote, potentially take a vote in open. And then the transaction is binding within 60 days of that. So in the packet that everyone will receive is just some general information about the aerial photo, the layout of the building. Those things were provided through our facility study by Bray Architects. The next few pages are all the title information, the preliminary title information. It's obviously a clean title, as you would expect. And then further in is the actual offer to purchase, which is the document that we expect back. And so everything's filled in as far as dates and closing times and conditions of the sale. Provisions and contingencies are all listed there that we discussed at HR Finance. And so essentially what they're doing is they're putting in a purchase price. We will put a notification in the folder news and on social media to make the community aware, because we want to make sure that everybody is aware of this and has a shot at it. And then we'll collect the offers and bring it back in October.
This time we'll open for board member discussion and questions on Shannon's presentation. Any questions or discussions on this agenda item, that motion, or this presentation?
Should note that we did have a robust discussion and a good discussion in HR Finance where that discussion should take place. So there's been eyes on this aplenty.
said and no hands raised for other questions or discussion, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item,
You want these back? Yeah, I'll take those back.
next item on our agenda is the CESA contract addendum for the LETRS Volume 2 training. We had a topic summary sheet provided by Amanda Patterson and a recommended motion from our Finance HR Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? John?
I recommend a motion to approve the amended CESA 9 contract to include LETRS Volume 2 training at the cost of $6,400 using grant funds.
Motion by John. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? Any questions or discussion in regard to this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the LETRS training fees, topic summary sheet provided by Amanda Patterson, and a recommended motion from our Finance HR Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? John?
I motion to approve the purchase order for the LETRS training and facilitator training from Lexia Learning Systems LLC with ERPA LETRS funds.
Motion by John. Do we have a second? Second by Paul. Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? John?
Just a point of clarity that both those letter L and M are grant funds that the Director of Curriculum has procured for the district. And again, does not come out of any type of state aid or local levy dollar amounts.
Yeah, and just to clarify, John, that's a fair point, thank you. The reason L is even on the agenda, because it's below that threshold, is because it's really an amendment to the larger CESA contract, which is well above the threshold, so we're changing that contract.
But yes, you're correct, it is from grant funding.
Any additional discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries. Next on our agenda this evening is adding a second school resource officer at MAPS. We abbreviate that SRO. The topic summary sheet came from Shannon Murray with a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
Move to approve the addition of a second school resource officer as presented, using Fund 80 as appropriate and as allowable.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. Do we have any questions or discussion in regards to this motion or topic? Go ahead.
Subsequent, or since HR Finance, I did talk to Chief Bennett again, just to kind of explore time frames and those kind of things, kind of let him know where we are in the process. Mark and I talked about, because it is a Fund 80 expense, or tied to Fund 80. We'll have a closer sense of that, depending on the time frame of the hire of the officer, certainly by the annual meeting, by the time the budget's approved, but we're feeling it's going to be about a half. We're kind of landing currently on about half the cost of the officer this year, because that's about as soon as we're going.
Additional questions or discussion with that addition to the topic? just understand that, meaning that we won't have one for half of the school year is why you're saying that, correct?
Yeah, it's 5 months after the hire date, yeah.
All right, additional questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the boiler replacement at Merrill High School. We have a topic summary sheet provided by Nick Zolak and a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
I move approval of purchase of a replacement boiler at Merrill High School from Complete Control for $89,430 using federal ESSER funds.
Motion by Paul, do we have a second? Second by John. Any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? John, go ahead.
I'd like to point out again that these are ESSER funds and that the actual deadline to use them is the end of September, if I recall, so September 30th. And so we're busily trying to make good use of that money before we no longer have access to it. And so these aren't kind of like last minute ideas or just things that we're trying to spend the money on. These are good use of the money because these types of equipment are already projected to be at end of life. So more to come hopefully within the next month in September according to committee discussion.
Yes, and we'll be meeting with Nick and Andrew Kaler starting next week. And so the ESSER, the last batch of ESSER is kind of tricky because it's what's allowable. And so HVAC and those kind of things are, tech is. And so we're going to see where we're at with the balance and come to you through HR Finance again and kind of spend that now.
Paul, go ahead.
Round figures about how much is left.
150-ish?
So we got one more big ticket item at the high school. that we can cover.
Yeah, there's a boiler, the second boiler, there's some tech things that are coming. There's one of the things that, the item Q is controls for all that. So those are quick needed too. We'll be coming back.
Additional questions or discussion on this particular motion for this topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the unit ventilator replacement at Merrill High School. Topic summary sheet was provided by Nick Zolak with a recommended motion from Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Nubs?
I move to approve the purchase of a replacement unit ventilator at Merrill High School from Complete Control for $17,150, with again using federal ESSER funds.
Motion by Nubs. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. Do we have any discussion or questions in regard to this motion on this agenda item? Any questions or discussion on this motion for this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the Goodrich VAV, or Variable Air Volume, DDC, which is a direct digital control conversions. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Nick Zolak and a recommended motion from the Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
I move approval of purchase of the replacement VAV DDC conversions throughout the district from Complete Control for $15,545 using federal ESSER funds.
A motion by Paul, we have a second? Second by Mike. Do we have any discussion or questions in regards to the motion on this agenda item? Any discussion or questions on the motion for this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the Community Education Coordinator Administrator Compensation Plan. Attached is a topic summary sheet from Heather Soberg and a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion in regards to this agenda item? Mike?
I recommend the motion to approve the addition of the Community Education Coordinator salary plan to the MAPS Leadership Compensation Plan for administrators.
Motion by Mike, do we have a second? Second by Jacqueline. Any discussion or questions in regards to the motion on this agenda item? Any questions or discussion in regards to the motion for this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda this evening is a change in title from Behavior Coach to Dean of Students. Topic summary sheet is provided by Heather Soberg and a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Mike?
I recommend the change of position title from Behavior Coach to Dean of Students in Kate Goodrich.
A motion by Mike, do we have a second? Second by Jacqueline. Do we have any discussion or questions in regards to this motion on this agenda item? Any questions or discussion on this motion or agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the technical corrections made throughout policy manual to change the title. Director of Business Services to Director of Human Resources or Director of Finance. Just a reminder that per bylaw 0131.3, the superintendent is authorized to review and make technical corrections to policies that have already been adopted through normal rulemaking procedures. And it's an agenda item such as this one that you are made aware of these changes. This is informational only, but if anyone has any clarifying questions, we certainly could go through that at this time. Thank you for those corrections, Shannon. Before I ask for a motion on the consent agenda, I'll ask if anyone would like anything pulled to be dealt with separately from the consent agenda.
Point of order, you mentioned you wanted to speak to the personnel report. Do you want it pulled for that purpose?
I don't know if we need it. Well, I was just going to announce that who it was, and it's on the personnel report. I didn't want to be out of order earlier.
All right. Anyone like anything pulled? Thank you for asking and catching that, John. Otherwise, I would look for someone to make the motion on the consent agenda, please. John?
Motion to approve consent agenda items A through D, which includes the minutes of July 17, 2024 meetings, claims, vouchers, and receipts totaling $2,053,519.98, donations totaling $2,000, and the attached personnel report, contingent upon the release of the contract for hirings and upon the satisfaction of appropriate liquidation damages for resignations if applicable.
Motion by John, do we have a second? Second by Jacqueline. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the item for future meetings. We do have some things that we are keeping track of. It's relatively short list with some new things that were brought up either at committee or just as recently as last month's meeting. So we do keep that in a spreadsheet, so to speak, and making sure we're following up on those items. Some will take some work and will be presented at committee as soon as next month, if not October. Anyone have any additional items that they would like added to either the board of the whole or to go through our committee process for future meetings?
Can I ask a question about a future meeting?
Go ahead.
The safety committee meeting, we discussed trying to inject, I believe it was workman's comp related discussions in response to our workman's comp rating. Is that something that's going to be incorporated in the next meeting, or what's the?
I'll defer to Heather and or Amber with the process. We had some consultation, kind of audit kind of things regarding workman's comp. Thoughts on that, or?
Mark and I were going to be looking at the list of all the workman's comps to see what, like, if there's any key areas. Really, the big key areas are so some of the like structural things, like out on sidewalks and in the parking lots, which I know those were some maintenance things that were being addressed this summer, as well as just we have to reiterate when we talked about NVCI and those like restraints and stuff, just reiterating the safety that we need to make sure we're using when a student is not showing the safest body. So those were really the biggest ones as Mark and I were looking at them.
Is there something specific you'd like to see now?
Well, no, like, the discussions say of that findings needs to get disseminated out into the district to the employee base. That's how you can affect your workman's comp rating. And so I think there was some brief discussion that the safety committee was already established, and then you would get feedback from the employee base on safety concerns, which would then tie up to workman's comp risk. So we were kind of looking for a parking spot for the subject of workman's comp, and I think the safety committee is what we thought would be an already established committee that could start bringing workman's comp risk prevention to the forefront so that we can do something proactively. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. The safer workplace, those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's worthy.
We could add that to the next agenda and then probably invite one or both of you to that meeting as well to be able to review some of that data.
Yeah, I think the key is that we need, if you want to move your number, you need buy-in from staff. Otherwise, it's just a number in central office, which you're managing.
The other thing is we're part of a consortium, and they have resources that we can tap into, and maybe at some point it's one of their consultants come and review the list that Amber or Heather and I have looked at and make some suggestions and go from there.
And perhaps your committee, the safety committee itself, can be part of the dissemination of information so that there's buy-in directly from staff involvement.
Thank you, John. Any additional board members' items for future meetings? Not hearing any additional ones. Just a reminder that tomorrow morning, Shannon and I will be on the radio at approximately 8:15 a.m. on Blue Jay Radio, going through tonight's meeting and the agenda, things happening in the district. Future meetings, the facility committee next meets on Wednesday, September 11th, 3:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. CTP, Curriculum Technology Pupil Services, will meet following that at 4:30 p.m. on that September 11th date. Finance Human Resources next meets also on Wednesday, September 11th, starting no sooner than 5 p.m. or immediately following CTP. Safety Committee that was just mentioned meets on Monday, September 16th, 12:30 p.m. in the boardroom. District annual meeting and budget hearing is scheduled for Monday, September 16th, 5:30 p.m. in Merrill High School Auditorium. The next regular board meeting is Wednesday, September 18th, 5:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. Next, I would look for anyone willing to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Nubs and a second by Mike for adjournment at 6:20 p.m. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you all for your attendance and participation this evening.